In this video, I'll show you how to use the funnel explorations report in Google Analytics 4. It's super useful, especially when you're trying to find out where people are abandoning your website in their journey. Hello data people, my name is Robert and I'm here to help you understand and analyze data to make better decisions in e-commerce. Let's head to the explorations menu in GA4. So head to explorations in GA4 and just here, let's pick funnel exploration. And it opens up the explorations mode, and it looks really confusing when you're starting out, but it actually has quite clear structure. On the left, you have the variables you can choose. On the here, the middle one, the middle column, we have the settings, and then this is the output. This is where we're gonna see the results. So let's start by just deleting the stuff that it adds here by default. So let's just delete this, clicking on these X's, and we'll just delete everything so that we have a, just nothing there. Now, first of all, on the left, you can choose the name for this one. So you could say this is the shopping funnel. And then you can pick the dates. 28 days actually works quite well. And in the dates, you can also compare the dates. So later on, I'll show you how to use that. And then we have the segments. We're going to get to these in a second. And then we have dimensions. So dimensions is really important. This is basically where we're going to start seeing things. So we need to, first of all, make sure we have event name here. If you don't have that, you can just click on this plus and come here and search for event name. And you can see, you can check it from there. Just pick that one. And so just so we add something here, let's pick from here campaign. Let's type session campaign. It's really important that you always pick the similar metrics. So session campaign, and then we need source. Let's look for it. So here we can pick the session source. For example. Let's import this, and now it's adding them here. And then we have metrics, but for funnel explorations, pretty much all of them, they're locked. You cannot pick these. So if you would use any of the other explorations, like the freeform explorations, you will be able to pick a metric. Okay, so then we get to the interesting part, that the settings, and we're gonna build the funnel now. And first of all, let's keep these as default and start with the steps, because otherwise we don't see anything. So let's go into the step. Let's say this step will be about saw a product. This is an e-commerce shop. So I want people to see that people saw a product. From here, we can just come and we can type in view_item. This event means that somebody saw an item on your website. So let's add it there. And then we add another step. And in this case, we're going to say this is add to cart. So then let's pick from here. And so here you see that you have add to cart directly. But sometimes it doesn't show up. So in that case, you can just come here, then you go into, then you search for event name. So here, event name, and then you can say add filter, and we're gonna just say exactly matches and add to cart. That's what we need. There you go, apply. So there's two ways to add these here. And then the last step, let's add one more, and this is the purchase. So this is very simple funnel. Let's search for purchase. Since it's a standard event, you'll be able to see it here. Okay. On top of that, you can also add some logic. You have here and or logic. So for example, you could say view item and that page name was something. Let's say page path. And then from here, you could filter contains, I don't know, what would it be? Hoodie. This means that people that enter this funnel, they need to have a view item event, which is basically on all PDPs. And on top of that, that PDP needs to have page path that contains hoodie. Now, in some cases, this is too strict. You can also, instead of and logic, you can add or. So from here, you would add or. So view item or view item list, for example. This means that they've seen a PLP, so product lister page, instead of PDP, so product detail page. So this way you can also add or logic. For this funnel, I'm just gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna remove it like this and keep it saw product, add to cart, and purchase. Okay, and then apply, and then this funnel will be created. So if we focus on this data, what we see here, we have here saw product, and this is the completion rate, so 10%. And then between this step and this step, this is the completion rate, which is about 6%. And what's cool here, you can also see abandonment rate, which is from this step to this, and this step and this. But this and this is just inversed. So if you add this up, it's going to be 100%, and if you add this to this, then it's 100%. You can also see the same data here beneath in a table. So if sometimes it's just easier to look at this part here. Again, you have your completion rate, abandonments, and abandonment rate. You can see if you hover over this. So the 8,400 is the number of people that started with this step, and this is how many actually just exited before completing this step. By the way, data is not created equal, and you should be only looking at data that is relevant to your role. That's why I've created a cheat sheet which shows you the most important metrics and KPIs specific to different e-commerce roles. You can download it by clicking on the first link in the video description. Now we talk about the comparison for dates. You can just come here, and if you click on compare, you're able to select the comparison dates. So let's say I'll just pick the default one and click on apply, and you can see the same data is now here in comparison. So let me just remove it because it gets a bit confusing when we add more information like this. So you have a few options to visualize this. You see these steps, and then you have the trended funnel, which you probably won't be using that much. Here you could also go through each step separately. Then let's go back to standard funnel. Right now we have an open funnel. That means on this step, everybody had to see a product. On this step, they had to see the product and add something to cart. And on this step, they had to have both of these steps so that they could be a part of this. Now, in this funnel, it won't change much if we just make it closed. It won't change much if we make it open. But in some cases, you have people that, for example, didn't see the product, but they added a product to their cart. For example, if you have some sort of an email campaign where the product is added to the cart automatically when they land on the cart page or something. That way you would see additional people in this one. Now, it's up to you how you want to keep it. Usually I like to keep it closed. That way you keep it a bit more contained. Then you have segments, and we're going to get to those in a second. And we went through the steps, and then we have the breakdown. And this is interesting because right now we see this for everybody. But what if we want to see it per country? You can do that. So from here, this is Google Merch Shop. So you can see here you have US and Canada and completion rates to the next step, 10 and 14. But then people not purchasing the product because the completion rate from add to cart to purchase here in the US, it's 7% or almost 8%, and here it's 3.5%. So big difference there. But this is an easy way to compare different things. So for example, instead of country, you could also add device category. And in this case, you'll be comparing desktop to mobile users. And usually you would see some differences in behavior. As you can see on mobile, the drop off is or completion rate is much lower than on desktop. And by the way, if you struggle to get insights from GA4, then check out my GA4 for e-commerce course, where I specifically focus on analyzing data and getting actionable insights, leaving out all the technical stuff. For more information, just check out the first link in the description. Then here you can also choose how many rows you see. So right now we see 3 because there's only 3 options, but if you have many like countries, then you'll be able to see more of them there. But it gets quite confusing the longer you make. Then you have elapsed time. Let me just remove the device category so you can see. So elapsed time, it'll just show you here another column which shows you kind of how long it takes between the steps. But to be honest, I'm not sure how reliable this is, so I don't really tend to use it. So it's up to you if you want to give it a go. And then we have next action, and you can only select event name, but basically if you select it here, you'll be able to see what is the next event that people do after they see a product. So here you can see that the event is fired is top spenders, view item list, page view. So this doesn't really tell you much, even if you know what each of these events mean. So most of the time, I just don't use it. Next part is filters, and this is really useful because right now we see it for everybody, but what if we want to see for specific things? For example, if you're running a campaign and you want to see this funnel for that, you can do it here. So let's choose session campaign and then select here, let's contains, and you have some sort of a campaign running. Let's see what they have here already. Let's say this one, February. Okay, it's a bit old one. We're not going to see much here, but let me expand this 90 days so that February is included. And now we should see the same funnel for people that were part of this campaign. You see, this way you can analyze or compare different campaigns to each other. And speaking of comparison, we filtered now by this campaign, but we could also come here and we could set up segments. So if we click on this one, we have the options here, and the segments are basically here. So if you have more segments, you can add from here, or you can even create segments from here. So you're able to add those things here. So for example, let's close this one. And in this case, I could compare the direct traffic against the paid traffic. Let's say mobile traffic against the tablet traffic. Really depends what you want to achieve here, but this way you're able to just side by side look at this data. Or sometimes you have a website where you can only sell to a certain country. Let's say we only sell in US. That means we might as well just filter by people that came from US, because otherwise we have a lot of noise around it. So we see people that come to the site but can't even purchase from us. So now it's a bit more clearer. Now, if you want to share this report, what you can do is let's open up this Explore. Let's just duplicate this and I'll go here into Explore. So what you can do here is share this report. So right now you see it only yourself, but if you come here and press on these three dots, you're able to share. Now I don't have rights for this one. So on this Google Analytics 4, I do have. So if I come here and I click on share, I'm able to share this with everybody. That means everybody who has access to this GA4 is able to see it. So I could now click here on share and everybody would see it here as an option. That's the easiest ways to share right now. Unfortunately, you can't just send that link. Great, now you know how to use the funnel report, but GA4 default reports are full of metrics and dimensions that you don't really need, and using them will just waste your time. So that's why you should watch this video next if you want to learn the most useful reports in GA4.